I think the imbalance that makes you like not care about things that you don't care about, and really lock in on stuff that you do. Um, Actually work. So I think both of my feeling yours, but in life where it's tough, especially growing up and not knowing and thinking I was just like bad at school, right? Like where I just didn't like school. Um, and then I got diagnosed when I was 17, about to turn 18, and it completely changed my life. And not be able to voice your emotions. Like I could never tell anybody how I felt. Like it was just there. I just felt like it was just there, and there was nothing I could do about it. There's nobody I could talk to about it. It is, and that's what it's about. That's the empowerment of it, of learning about it, figuring it out, and then making it your superpower.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. A couple more. Today on my table, we have PJ Tucker. He is an NBA player, a Hall of Fame defender. He's the toughest player I ever had the pleasure to work with. Actually, your name should be PJ Tougher.
I like that.
He's a dad, he's a husband, a mentor, friend, and he has such a beautiful heart. I kind of see him more as the beauty and the beast. How about that for an intro?
That's a good one. I like that one.
PJ, can you take me back to where you grew up and how you grew up in kind of like describe that environment?
I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and my whole life has been about basketball. So from birth, I feel like like my first memories is all of like everything related to basketball and playing basketball and going places to play basketball, and like everything we did revolved around playing basketball. So it's something I've done my whole life. Like, and
Who introduced you to basketball?
my mom introduced me to
Your
basketball.
mom.
My mom, to this day, my mom is still the biggest basketball fan I know.
Really?
All she does is watch games and uh, college pros. She's like all about basketball.
Did she play basketball at some point?
She did. She played basketball in high school until she had me.
What was it like for you in Raleigh?
I mean, it's a small city, but it's a tough city to grow up in. There's a lot of different things you get into, and it's funny because me and my friends even now talk about like all the things that we could have did outside of what we actually did, going to boys club and playing basketball and being around each other. But the guys that kind of fared off, end up like dead, selling
Mhm.
drugs, in prison, doing all kind of crazy stuff. So basketball's always been something that just kind of kept me out of trouble from the streets.
Did you feel like basketball saved your life?
100%. Because without basketball, I would have been, I don't even know. There's no telling.
From the environment that you were in, what do you apply to your basketball career?
That's that's a good question. I think that's like part of the reason why I'm playing so long outside of taking care of my body and being healthy, was just kind of the hunger to survive, right? To be great and survive, not just make it, but um, do the best of my abilities. Like
Mhm.
just go further and further and further to not quit. Like it's just where I'm from. It's just one of those mentalities. Like you
Because
just
people don't bet on you.
no at all. So it's one of those things that you just uh, born with from the beginning. And,
Mhm.
the no quit attitude, of being able to fight for everything you got, and when you get it, fight for more. That's just how we built.
I like that. Yeah, fight for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely you. I would hate for you to defend on me if I was a player. and and so you definitely bring that on the court, that mentality of like a dog mentality.
Your perspective is also interesting because you get to like watch me play and know like day to day, like see me walk in
Mhm.
and me come and tell you how I'm feeling and we work and like but you actually see me play and then work on me afterwards like that. I think
Yeah,
that's like a like a crazy dynamic of like how
Yeah.
people have no idea like the stuff we go through
Yeah, that's the
to
we
be
see
able
the
to
tip of
play.
the iceberg.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's totally different.
Yeah.
People can see like the hours spent in preparation to be able to play. That's like a whole nother perspective
Yeah.
because nobody knows that. They don't know what we do
No,
behind the scenes
it
before.
takes hours of preparation or recovery.
Yep,
And so for me, like
all the
what's
pills.
oh yeah, yeah, you were part of the functional medicine program. So every day I would make like a little bag of pills, because they get tested. We know everything about their body. Then every day, here are your pills.
They're
So,
disgusting.
yes, you
So
can
nasty.
perform, but you were taking them, and
So
some,
nasty.
and most of the guys, like I was
For
really
sure.
proud of them for sticking with the program and sticking to, honoring your body
Yeah.
because you needed to play.
Any edge you can get.
Yeah.
82 game season, you need
Mhm.
every single
Plus
edge you
the
can get.
playoffs.
Yep, you need every edge you can get on a daily basis to be able to perform at such a high level.
What were your mentors throughout your beginning and throughout your career, and what was the best piece of advice that they gave you?
That's a good question.
I
Um,
only have good question.
I feel like I had like different mentors at different stages. Um, it was just people that just kind of have your back and wanted the best for you and try to help you, guide through trying to make it, right? And back then, trying to make it is like go to college, get a degree. Like nobody thinks you're gonna make the NBA in real life. So you don't even kind of talk about making NBA, even though that's like your goal. It's like more like going and getting a scholarship and getting a degree or whatever. So most of my mentors early on was just people that were trying to help me get through school and get better at basketball. That
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the normal functionality of my AAU coach. Between my AAU coach and uh, the director of the boys club and like people with different organizations that I was in, just trying to help me in every way be able to be successful.
Do you remember a piece of advice that kind of like that stick with you?
I'll say the best one I got was when I actually got drafted my rookie year in Toronto. The coach of my team after the season told me, and it's funny now because when I think about what he told me, how I thought, uh, and now how I feel about it is so funny and how that works. Well, he told me I need to go to Europe and learn how to be a pro. And I was like, and I'm on the NBA team, and I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to go to where? Like, thought he was crazy. And in reality, he was so right. Like he's part of the reason why I'm able to be where I'm at now because if I didn't take the route and listen to him, then there's no way I'd be there now.
Because people think that playing in Europe is like a lower level.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, they got no idea. It's really hard to play in Europe. Really, really hard. Um,
Even the way they defend. I don't know shit about basketball. I know a little bit. And I can tell you like the way they defend over there is different than the NBA. And like you gotta find a way because they're not moving.
the way the game's called is different. The line being closer, there's no 3 seconds in the lane, so it's a lot. It's tougher to score the ball for sure, but just the mentality of playing in Europe, being on a team, living in another country, like really becoming friends with guys that you just met, having to gel and come together to be able to win. It's a lot of adversity, a lot of stuff you go through throughout the year, being away from your family and friends.
Yes.
It's a lot, and you grow up real fast. You have to, or you
That
won't
build your
survive.
resilience.
Yeah, you won't survive if you don't. So, um, it took my resiliency up a million percent being there.
We got the face. Have you ever watched this movie Euphoria with Zendaya?
Oh, the show on HBO.
Yeah, it's a show
Yeah,
on HBO.
yeah.
Have you ever been able to watch it?
I've seen a couple episodes. I haven't seen like all of it.
You have two daughters
Yup.
and one boy,
Yup.
two teenagers, one younger.
Yup.
And so I tried to watch Euphoria and I really I wasn't able to go through the first episode. It touched me so much. It was just so intense because I know that's, the reality for some of the kids.
For sure.
And the first episode when she meet the guy in a hostel, I can't believe that this is really happening. I think it's important for parents to watch that series if they want to be able to understand the reality of what our kids are living. What is it like to raise two teenagers and especially a girl teenager
Yeah, that shit's a daily.
for that?
Yeah, that's some. That show's crazy because it make you. I think parents should watch it too. Because even though I haven't watched it all, just an episode or two of that where you get so uncomfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially like having a teenager, it's so wild, and being able to like be comfortable enough to really talk to your kids and be able to like say anything and be open with them where they are open enough with
Mm-hmm.
you. Um, not so much as a friend, but really as a parent that cares more than trying to be a friend. And that little narrow road of that is really tough, and it's something that you like got to navigate and figure out. I think each parent is different because every
Yeah.
kid's different, but it's tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. It's really tough for me.
I think it definitely opened your eyes, and kind of like make you think I should make sure that I keep the communication with my kid.
For sure.
You grew up with no money. What's the difference with the way you lived and then now the way that you're raising your kids, knowing, having like both perspective?
Yeah, it's that's something I think about daily too. Like uh, when you don't have anything, and you don't look for anything, right? Like you work, I know I gotta work for everything. I know I don't have anything waiting for me. I know uh, my mom worked hard, but she could only do so much. So my expectancy of my parents was very low. Like it was more of like just having them and them being there rather than them being able to do things to help me out um, going forward. So my whole objective growing up was to be able to take care of my mom, whereas my kids, their whole objective is totally different. And even understanding my 17-year-old daughter,
Mm-hmm.
her perspective of asking me to get her a G wagon, right? Like that's like I'll only imagine me saying that to my mom when I was 17. Like probably would have smacked me like it's crazy. So
You're lucky if you get a bicycle.
yeah, right, for sure. So it's funny that um, to make it to that point where the kids know that that you have things for them, and they've lived a certain type of way throughout their life. Um, just building that legacy and leaving things behind for your kids. Um, a big part for me, like going forward and fighting and really, outside of the love for the game, was more about taking care of my kids, make sure they're
Mm-hmm.
good.
Do they know your story? Do they have at least like that perspective of this is how my dad used to live and this is
Yeah,
how I'm lucky to be able to
yeah,
live?
yeah, they do, but it's been so long and so much has happened and being in the NBA for so long now. I doubt they even think like that anymore. Kids get so they're so comfortable and they live they kind of the life is so shaded, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't have any worries, any problems. So I don't think they think about the stresses and the stuff that came along with everything they got with their dad to do. But that's fine with me. I don't feel like they have to live how I live, and
Yeah, for
that's the
sure.
part of working hard and doing stuff is that you don't want them not to go through what you went through. So, um, but the hard part is to make sure they still got the work ethic and still
Mm-hmm.
want to strive for things on their own rather than everything their dad did for them. So,
Yeah, because like
um,
your boy is now into
yeah,
basketball, right?
yeah, yep. So, um, he's probably the toughest because he thinks he in the NBA already. So, so keeping him humble is pretty hard, but um, it's cool. It's cool.
What are some of the advice that you give your daughter or your son?
Tell them to be honest, work hard, and stay true to who they are. I think a lot of times, especially little girls, man, you just try to input so much into them. And you gotta kind of let them go and trust them and trust
Mm-hmm.
that the things that you told them, uh, they'll listen to and
Yeah, yeah.
and put in their life.
She's gonna
Uh,
make mistake. He's gonna
for
make
sure,
mistake too. That's how you learn.
for sure, for sure. So, just try to minimize on the mistakes and be able to uh, help a way through. That's it. Just
Mhm.
try to guide it through, help guide it.
Being a parent is hard, huh?
It's hard work.
It's
It's hard.
really
It's much
fucking
harder than
hard.
being in the NBA for
Yeah,
sure. It's a lot harder.
super hard. Let's work a little bit on your pecs because that's something that people don't get work enough. Eh.
Because they don't like working on the pecs because the pecs suck.
Ooh, little trigger points. So trigger points in a muscle is kind of like a knot that develops next to a nerve, and so when you release it, it kind of make like a vibration, and that tells you that it's been released. So that's kind of like a really cool. It's part of the neuromuscular technique, and I like to do that a lot with my athletes. Doing okay?
Hmm.
You know, you've been an incredible source of knowledge for me when it came to knowing more about how to manage my ADD symptoms. And I've always viewed my ADD as a superpower, especially when I'm really interested in something like understanding the body, treating the pain, or preventing injuries. I always find myself really diving into studying, researching, and practicing because I want to become the absolute best in what I'm doing. And when we were preparing for this interview, you really wanted to share your own experience with ADHD. You wanted to show how it can be harnessed and used to achieve greatness.
I think the imbalance that makes you like not care about things that you don't care about, and really lock in on stuff that you do. Um, actually works. I think both of them, I feel in yours, but in life where it's tough, especially growing up and not knowing and thinking I was just like bad at school, right? Like where I just didn't like school. Um, and then I got diagnosed when I was 17, about to turn 18, and it completely changed my life.
Because at least now you know what you were going through,
Right.
and
And,
you
and it
yeah.
makes sense. And in
Mm-hmm.
my life, and I feel like if it could have been a lot earlier, a lot of things could have been a lot better. Um, because afterwards, I mean, it's just like night and day after you get
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed and you understand it and trying to navigate it early on
Because you know
was,
you're not crazy.
I know I'm not crazy. And I know that this is not how I feel. And why am I feeling like this? And I feel like I don't have control over it. And, my mind saying one thing and I feel like my body just not trying to do it. And like, what's going on in that fight? And then to finally figure it out, um, and then over the years be able to hone it and use it to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's something that I think that I think they should, have classes about and teach and for people to learn and people to understand themselves. Uh, because I think a lot of times when they don't, then they can have the adverse,
Yeah, they
effect.
classified as bad as
Right,
cannot learn,
right,
cannot focus,
right,
cannot, whether in reality,
yep,
for a lot of them, for a lot of ADHD people, like they're geniuses,
right.
you know?
And not be able to voice your emotions. Like I could never tell anybody how I felt. Like it was just there. I just felt like it was just there, and there was nothing I could do about it. There's nobody I could talk to about it. Um, And once I got diagnosed and going to therapy every week and get medicated and figured it out and just using my advantage.
Yeah. And what's really interesting also is that when you have ADHD, at least for me, I have like several passion. Look, I'm gonna be interested in several stuff, but once I find one thing, I'm just gonna go like just crazy over it. And that's interesting because like when I look at you, there is like several things that you're interested and you know a lot about it.
Right.
Like wine,
Yeah.
coffee,
Right.
sneakers. There is things that you have an interest in and you are like almost, like an expert.
Yeah. And that's a part, like that's a part of, for me, that's a part of like my disease almost where it's like the things I'm interested in, I'm all the way, like I get all the way into it. I just dive right into it, right?
Mhm.
And I become obsessed with it.
To me, it's a superpower. I really don't see it as a disease. I think once you know what you have, what type you have, then you can really use it at your advantage.
For sure. It is. And that's what it's about. That's the empowerment of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of learning about it, figuring it out, and then making it your superpower.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go. A couple more.
So many people get diagnosed so late
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they have no idea. They think they're crazy. They
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah. It made so much sense when I got diagnosed. I was
Put
like,
everything together.
that's why I react like that.
Mm.
Because you don't know what you have. You think it's your personality. You think that yeah, that's how you are.
Yep.
But parts of you knows that um parts of you don't want it. And you try to push it away, and the more you push it away, the more it comes back.
More stones
Yeah.
coming back on you tenfold.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And so it can affect your relationship, it can affect like
Every
your
part of your life.
work.
Every part of your life.
Yeah. So once you know, that's amazing, like how much it changed my life to at least know.
Friendships, everything.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get a little bit more work on those trapezius. Because like you're so intense, you hold a lot of your attention in your shoulder because you're like guarded all the time, which is your job.
Yep.
To make sure that your zone is guarded and protected. So there's something that people don't know about you and I found fascinating is your love for fashion and how you are involved in high fashion. Can you talk to us about that?
That's something that just kind of happened. Like, it's one of those things you don't, like, I feel like, especially in like recent years of people like the boom of like social media and people showing off what they're wearing, especially in sports where nobody was like really into fashion, but it's like you're into it and you don't know you're into it. And I feel like I've been into it my whole life. I just never got diagnosed in a sense of never
As a
having like
fashionista.
yeah, like about putting it into context of my life and how I grew up and what I care about and like getting dressed has always been at the top of the list of things I like to do.
Is it a way for you to express yourself?
1,000%. It's always been an expression. It's like how I feel that day. It's even hard for me to like pick an outfit for tomorrow until tomorrow because I don't know how I'm gonna feel, and I'll change and I'll change and I'll switch and flip and until I feel like that's how I'm feeling.
This morning, I'm feeling really happy and like excited. Like, what are you choosing?
All right, so like today, like I had the day off. We had a back to back. We're home. Going to lunch. Like cozy vibe. I want to be comfortable. Like a cardigan. Just cozy vibes with some loose jeans and Constant slides, just real cool, cozy. It's a cool day today. Might put a hat on or a scully, depending on my vibe.
How are you with like colors?
Yes, you know I love color. I'm all about color.
True story. Last year, it's Halloween, and he comes with this colorful from head to toe, like a teddy bear. And I'm like, oh, what's your costume? Where is like, what costume?
I really happened.
Okay, yes, that was not a costume.
That 1000%
He
happened.
felt really festive that day.
I remember that like yesterday.
Yeah, I want to try to find that picture.
We're gonna find it. I
Because-
got that picture for sure.
I was like, this is for sure a costume, but it wasn't.
Nope, it was not.
You feeling kind of like, yeah, happy? What color do you tend to choose?
Brighter colors. I'm
Brighter.
happy. Yeah, for sure.
You were so happy that day.
Yes, I was feeling good. Like that's usually an indicator I'm feeling good.
What about like a black color? What does that signify for you?
All black. It's just like I didn't even feel like really getting dressed. I'm just throwing this on. Like I'm not trying to really do nothing. I ain't on nothing. Like I'm just kind of in the cut. Like I'm not trying to be sociable today. Like
Yeah.
I'm like
Like, don't
all
talk to
black,
me.
Like I ain't. Cause I'm never wearing that, and if I am, like I just don't care that day.
Yeah, so now you know if you work with PJ and he's wearing kind of like the dark color,
Yeah.
don't even look at him.
Some black Air Forces, you know what I'm on.
Forget about it. In the summer, you work in the fashion industry, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that because I think that's fascinating.
I pick and choose and do things that I kind of, I feel like is next and is interesting to me and that I want to kind of see myself do. It's always with sneakers and building creative sneakers. Last year with both pair Converse doing this Air Force One Converse pack now. We got another Converse Weapon Low coming. So it's like the shoes is always a constant of being able to build and create, come up with new stuff. 2 years ago with the Dolce thing, with the Giuseppe thing.
You talk about it like it's the Dolce thing. No, what is that? Own it.
It's
That's
tough.
crazy.
Yeah, no, it's tough because a lot of times you have to create things and not able to go and be in Milan and be able to be in the offices and create stuff. So you have to be able to do the things and have vision yourself and inspire yourself to be able to come up with things on your own. So being here and working on projects like that, it's a little more tough. Be able to have the creativity to be able to do that. But I think it's fun.
It's amazing that they trusted you to like be a creative.
Yeah, 100%. Like you don't fully know what somebody's gonna come back with, and it's always funny being on the calls and with the other designers and people seeing the stuff and them actually liking what you come up with. It's kind of cool to be able to be an athlete and be able to create things and go in somebody else's lane where they're professionals and be able to hold your own.
What would you tell your younger self now that you've lived this life, those up and downs?
Oh, first I would be like, dog, you ain't gonna believe this shit. That's literally what I would tell myself, like, keep going, it's gonna be all right. You're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe it. Because my younger self would not believe if I told him how everything materialized and how everything that I dreamed became true and more. He wouldn't believe it. He'd be like, you're lying. There's no way.
Thank you, PJ. Yeah, that's a wrap. Good job. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You know it.
Where can we find you? Where can we follow you so we can know everything that you have to offer?
My Instagram is @PJ Tucker, and pretty much everything I do is on there.
You're not on like X,
Nah.
TikTok. We're
I
not
get in
gonna see you
trouble.
do like some dance
No.
and
I get in trouble on X, so I had to, had to be done with X. So it's just Instagram.
Instagram. All right, we'll write it down underneath.